what you're at to is tearing me apart. It's ruining every day, and I'm in so deep. You know I'm such a fool for you. You've got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? Hey there friends, how's it going today? David Potts with Song Notes here, and today I'm going to show you how to play the Cranberries song Linger from 1993. I've loved this song ever since it came out, and I've gotten tons of requests for this one over the years. So this is going out to all of you in the Song Notes community who have sent in this request. I appreciate the support each of you gives me over on my songnotes.net website, and I hope you dig this lesson. Let's jump right in and have some fun with this one. I'll start with the simple stuff and build it up from there, right? I want to kick things off by just showing you a simple way to play this intro riff at the beginning of the song, right? There's some complicated stuff you can do with this, but to keep it simple, let's just look at the two different chord shapes it's used. This is something a total beginner could get into. The two shapes are going to be this, they're basically versions of D, right? I'm calling this D over A, right? Because this third string, second fret note is an A, and then this one is a D over G. Okay, you could call this a G major 7 technically. Don't worry about the chord names. It's this version of D and this version of D without the third string fretted, okay? Second, third, second, and then this one is open third, second. You just make your D shape, and you're gonna just remove your index finger from that third string. Now those are the shapes. What we're gonna do is enter this picking pattern, right? 4 times on each chord. And what I have highlighted here is basically the note that's changing, right? The highlighted note is that third string note that's not fretted when you play in the D over G, which is what I'm playing now, right? And then you put the second fret down for the D over A, okay? Now this is what it looks like in a rhythmic context, right? Do each of these 4 times, and you're gonna repeat this whole line 4 times, right? So this is something great you can practice. The thing I'll say that you want to make sure you get under your belt early on, or just be aware of it, is the fact that you're going to play these 3 plucks, and then you're going to do an 8th note of a rest, right? You're not going to play anything. So if you counted this out loud, your counting should be steady. It would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and... You can do the little melodic counting like that if you want. If you want to imitate those violins, right? 1 and 2, da 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 da. So this is the foundation of the riff, but there's one extra thing we're going to want to do in order to really make it sound like the Cranberries version. It sounds like they have 2 guitars being played, but even with 1 guitar, you can imitate it. The main idea here is you want to add a pinch on the 1 count of each measure. And when I say a pinch, I mean you want to play the 3rd string and the 1st string at the same time. And this is kind of tricky because it's not really a strum, because you kind of want to avoid that 2nd string. So there's 2 ways you could do this. One is if you play finger style, you just need these 3 fingers right here. Here we go. So these 3 fingers, right? Your thumb, index, and middle. And basically you would just pinch the, you pinch the 3rd and 1st string together, and then you would just resume that pattern. So learn the pattern first. And on every 1 count, just pinch those strings. And one quick bit, if you want to get more fancy with things, is you could play this with a pick. You're going to have to use this technique called hybrid picking, where you're going to pluck the 3rd string note, and then you're going to use your middle finger down here to sort of grab at the 1st string note. So effectively, you're getting that pinch by virtue of the pick playing the 3rd string like you normally would, and then this finger sort of just playing the thinnest string. It's tricky to get a balanced sound of each of the strings. You want it to kind of be equal. You don't want one string to be way louder or quieter than the other, right? But it would sound like this. Okay, I admittedly could work on some polish there, but this is a perfect kind of a couch riff. You can just pick it up, you learn the shapes really easily, you kind of memorize this pattern, or you get my practice notes with them printed out here for you, and then you can just use this, the tab I have written out, or what I just showed you, where you go through this riff over and over again and work on getting that cool sound. Now, really quick, I want to talk about the intro part 2. This happens after we play that little picking thing I just showed you, but before we play the verse. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'll come back to this at the end. But the main idea here is we're going to go from 2 measures of A, but you're going to see this A6, and then to a C, then to a G. Could return. We get into the verse. And when you're playing this part, what I have circled in the counting there on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's the sort of rhythmic pulse. If you listen to the Cranberries recording, it starts at 35 seconds into the track. That's where the bass guitar is played. It's going to be the bass note of whatever chord, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So what we're going to do is just sort of mimic that rhythmic pulse with our guitar strumming. So I'm doing this version of A6 where I'm playing an A, and I'm just going to sort of collapse my hand and get this 2nd fret of the thinnest string. So that's going to give us this, right? Then to a C, then to a G. And on the last measure of G, we just kind of do the steady quarter note strums, and it's going to really kind of give things that nice feel. I want to come back to this topic later because I want to get to the main verse and chorus, show you how to strum things. But let's look at how the verse and the chorus sounds. The good news about this song is the verse and the chorus use this 4-chord progression. It's going to be 2 measures of D, 2 measures of A, 2 measures of C, and 2 measures of G. Okay, all the verses and all the chorus sections use this exact same progression. We're going to be on each of these chords for 2 measures total, and each measure has 4 counts. So what I would recommend starting with here is a simple strum. I have a couple of simple strums written up in my practice notes. You could do a down strum on every 1 count, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1. Okay, I was sort of counting with the melody, the vocal melody in my counting, and just doing a strum on every 1 count. If you want to level things up a little bit more, you could do a down strum on every 1 count and 3 count. It gives you something a bit more steady, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, right? So we could sort of, let me just play you the first line of the verse, right? If you could return, don't let it burn, don't let it fade. I'm sure I'm not being rude, but it's just your attitude. It's tearing me apart, it's ruining every day, but I'm in too deep. Okay, chorus, same thing. D, you know I'm such a fool for you. 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, da 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 da, linger. Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? Okay, that simple strum will work. You can play through the song like this. If you want to sing it or sort of just, do a campfire version, technically that'll work, right? And again, I do have these written up in my practice notes. If you want to get these, and this is just as the first page, there's a few other pages. It's going to show you all these strumming patterns, all these chord shapes, and everything you need to know. And over on my lesson webpage, I have a link out to the lyrics if you want that. But basically, yeah, the rhythm is going to be the tricky part of the song because there's a lot of directions we can go if we want to capture the Cranberries sound. And I will also say on my lesson webpage, I have a few backing tracks. They're like video practice tracks where it goes through this progression, one with an 8th note drum beat, one with a 16th note drum beat. You'll understand why these are going to be valuable in a second, but they basically are great to play over because you can hear the bass guitar that I recorded and you can kind of practice along at a steady tempo and visually see which chord you're supposed to be on. So those are over at songnotes.net. That's my website. Go check it out. Let me show you the sort of intermediate strum here that I recommend getting into to start to capture the Cranberries sound. Okay? So this is going to take that sort of rhythmic pulse we looked at in the second half of the intro, where it's going to be a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 okay, again, this is coming directly from the second half of the intro is where I'm sort of getting this pulse from, and we can turn this into a strumming pattern. What I actually recommend doing is this version on the right here, which is going to be steady down strums on the eighth notes, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm doing steady down strums on every eighth note, but notice that they're not all weighted equally. The first down strum, and then the down strum between the 2 and the 3, and then on the 4 count, that's where the sort of emphasis or accent, those are the strong beats, that's a sort of rhythmic pulse. And that really kind of taps into the spirit of the song, like I was saying, and we can start to play along and sing along like that, right? So get comfortable doing it without a chord first. Just mute your strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I sometimes think of this as the 3-3-2 pattern because you have 3 strums, then 3 more strums, then 2 strums. And in those groups, it's the first strum in each group gets the accent. A lot of songs use this. This is a very popular sort of rhythmic motif. It's not original per this song, right? So if we take the strumming pattern and want to sing the song, we would just get in the groove first, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then when you're ready, jump in. If you could return, don't let it burn, don't let it fade. I'm sure I'm not being rude, it's just your attitude. It's tearing me apart, it's ruining every day, but I'm in so deep. You know I'm such a fool for you. You've got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? Okay, if you want to hear a version of this where I go through the entire song using that exact pattern over my backing track, it's over as a separate video on my lesson webpage. I have that for this strum, for the easier strum, and for the more advanced strum that I'm going to show you next. So to strum it like you hear the Cranberries playing it, they're using what's called a 16th note strumming pattern. And a 16th note refers to not a note that we play on the guitar, but rather a division of time, right? We're going to break every measure into 16 subdivisions, right? With strumming, that effectively means that for every 1, 2, 3, 4, for every quarter note, we're going to have 4 subdivisions. So it's going to be 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the... That's the motion we have to make with our strumming hand. That's how fast it has to go. Now, even if you didn't count it with that E and that 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and you could count it just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the sort of up and down motion you want your hand to be moving in, right? Now, the pattern I recommend using to mimic the rhythmic pulse you hear in the Cranberries version, just using their bass guitar as the sort of reference, is this one. The bass guitar, you can hear it. It's going to be playing on the 1 count, the 16th note just before the 3 count, and then on the and count between the 3 and the 4. That is where you hear it in the Cranberries version. Now, a guitar strumming pattern to match that would be down, 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 up, 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 down. Okay? Now, if we put that into the song context, right? Down, 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 up, 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 down. And when you get to the chorus, if you want, you could amp things up even further just by adding in a few extra filler strums. Your hand is already moving at that up and down rhythmic pulse. You're just going to sort of connect with the strings a few additional times where there were gaps before. So you still have those accents are staying the same, the silences are staying the same. You're just going to kind of fill in some of those gaps. So the more full version, you might use this during the chorus. If you're really comfortable with things only, this is tricky to do. It would be a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Okay, I would not dive directly into that version I just showed you. This is not Wonderwall, where you hear the guitar very clearly, nothing else, and you're kind of mimicking that. This is a song with lots of instrumentation. It kind of has that dreamy kind of alt indie rock that was so great, especially in the early 90s. And you want to build up to that. If you find yourself in the chorus rocking out, you're comfortable, you can just kind of do constant up and down strums, right? And just get those accents in the right place. But you also can just keep things simple. And that's why I showed you the intermediate version, right? When I'm playing this around the couch in the kitchen, walking around the last few days practicing, I lots of times was doing no pick, and I was just doing, you know, but I'm in too deep. You know I'm such a fool for you. You've got me wrapped around your finger. This is that intermediate strum I told you about, right? This is all down strums, no pick, right? But if you brought a pick and you wanted to get the 16th notes in there, you know I'm such a fool for you. You've got me wrapped around your finger. Do you have to let it linger? Do you have to? Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? Okay, so you have options there. You can go from the simple stuff to the advanced stuff and back again. You just want to keep the, whatever your quarter note groove is, that's the main thing. It's not a big deal if you have to flub a few strums every now and then, but get into that groove and stay in the groove. Kind of, you can go down to the easier strums if you need to, stay in the groove, and then elevate it up to the more complicated stuff. And I will say, singing when strumming in this song is tricky because her rhythmic phrasing of the lyrics is oftentimes different from when you're strumming. So sometimes your voice will kind of find itself matching what you're strumming, or your strumming might want to match what she's singing. So if that gives you a hard time, check out my lessons on singing and strumming at the same time. I give you a bunch of tips on how you can effectively memorize the lyrics, practice them, practice the strumming, and put it all together. It's not necessarily something you can master overnight, but there's a lot of tips you can use as you practice things. Now, I want to show you all a few different tips to get here to level things up even further. One is going to be using these sort of chord variations, as I call them, right? If you... Let me show you how this would sound. Okay. Earlier on, we looked at the intro part 2. We went from this A6 to a regular A, right? This is something that, yeah, you do hear the guitars do, and it's happening on a bunch of the other chords as well. You can tweak and mess with and modify any of the chords that you're strumming to kind of give them a bit more character and everything. So let me show you a few of the common characters here, and I'll show you how to practice and how to put these into use. The A to the A6 is the most common one. You see other folks write this up online. The reason why is you hear the guitar do it in the intro part 2 especially, but it matches the vocal melody of the song, right? You know I'm such a fool for you, fool for you. This note, this F sharp note, if you play that over an A major chord, which is what she's singing, this is called an A add 6 or A6. I play it by doing a regular A, and then I kind of collapse my hand just towards the thinnest strings. And it's, for me, it's my, whatever finger is playing the second string note, that's the finger that's going to play the first string note also, right? So for me, it's the ring finger. But if you played your A like this, you would kind of maybe go like that. But you want to get clean sound. So Kind of experiment with things. You could use your pinky, I suppose. You could bar. But the whole point of doing this chord is you want to be able to go from the A6 to the A with the open high E string ringing out. It's essential you get those two notes in there, right? Okay, another trick is you could do it up here. Right, 7, 6, 5. If you just put your pinky down here, that's the same note, right? The great thing about the guitar is you can play many notes in multiple places, right? You also hear the guitar doing occasionally an A sus2. For the D, you hear it going between a D and a D sus2, okay? For the C, C major 7, or a C add 9. Now, let me show you though how you put these into practice, because me showing you all these fancy chord modifications, you might be like, how do I use this? What's the deal? Check this out. Look at this tab. This takes that rhythmic pulse of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and what we're going to do is use the assigned chord, but we're also going to use one of the modifications. So for just the D and the A measures, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now that's just using D and A as an example. You could use C and G using the other modifications I show to do the same thing. You never have to do this. This is the important part, but it is a nice way to sort of just add some sparkles and flair and flourish to things to make it sound cool. And if you listen again to the guitar on the Cranberries recording, you're going to hear some of this stuff. So I showed you this one with the simple strum. Well, intermediate strum, really. But you could do the 16th note strum as well, right? Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. Okay, so you could incorporate that into what you play in the actual song. You never have to do it, but if there's one time to do it, I think that intro part 2, where you're doing the... and that sort of fades out, right? Then you go from the A6 to the A, A6 to A, then to the C. I'm not doing a modification here, then to the G, right? So even if you just do the A6 to the A, I'll do it again. Ready, go. Let me show you how this would sound. Okay, so that's me going through the verse and chorus progressions using that. So it's an option you have there as well. So I think the last thing I want to show you in this video is just the outro riff. It's using the same chords that are in the intro. Okay, it's just the picking pattern is different. That's all it is to it. And it's kind of cool that in the intro you're going sort of up the stairs. Right? But in this one you're going down the stairs. So anyway, you're going to hear that at the very end of the song if you want to play it. Now, if you want to learn the vocal melody of this song, I do have that tabbed out. It's in my practice notes, and you can get that over on my website. I'll put another short video on my lesson page for this over at songnotes.net where I play through that if you want to hear how it sounds. That can be helpful if you're practicing singing and you want to like reference what are the pitched notes that are being sung. The melody tab will help help you out there. All right, so that's going to be it for this main lesson, y'all. I hope you found this helpful. Again, check out my other bonus materials and my playthroughs for this over at my website. It's linked in the description, songnotes.net. And thanks to all of you again who have requested this one. I hope you have a good time with this song. It's a really awesome one. One recommendation if you've watched this far, the show Derry Girls on Netflix. Derry Girls spelled like Derry, a city in Northern Ireland. It's a TV show. It's me and my wife and my daughter just binge the whole thing, and it is so well done. It is so funny. It takes place in the sort of mid-90s. It's about a bunch of friends who go to high school in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. And it sort of takes just, funny comic teenage life, like the things that teenagers go through, which the writing is so good. The accents, I mean, they're speaking English, but with the thick Irish accents, and the subtitles are essential for us to watch. But it's so good. The music and the needle drops in it are amazing. I mean, everything from, there's Tarantino ripoffs with Green Little Bag and everything, but tons of Cranberries. Dreams is in it, all kinds of stuff. And you see them going through just historical stuff in the 90s as they go through their sort of funny day-to-day high school stuff. So I cannot recommend the show highly enough. It's favorite show of the year I've watched so far. So even though it's been out for a few years now, the third and final season just wrapped up. 6 episodes per season. You can get through it really quick. Check that out. That's my recommendation for the day. And I'll see you in the next lesson, my friends. And until then, take care and bye-bye.